It's throwback week here at footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 8 preview between the Oakland Raiders and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now let's look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with Oakland.
If I'm the Raiders this week, I will utilize the pass to set up the run and more through wide receiver sets. So guys like Rod Streeter, Denarius Moore, Darius Haywood-Bay, I will challenge those guys to win the one-on-one matchups, thus spreading the field through wide receiver sets, being able to run that zone out that three wide receiver set, getting an extra lineman on the second level versus that Chiefs defensive line. So I think those receivers have to step up big and create those opportunities in the running game for Darren McFadden. But let's go inside the lab and look at that Raiders defense, in particular that secondary, and how they can communicate better versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
In order for the Oakland Raiders to have some success versus the Kansas City Chiefs passing attack, they're going to have to communicate better in their coverage with the route combinations. You see, we have 5 wide receivers in a route. Receiver number 1, receiver number 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to call these guys 1 through 5 like this. But let's look at how they can communicate better in their coverage to be in position to make plays. The strong side corner, which is designated by the tight end, he's going to get a jam on his wide receiver. He gets this jam, then he's going to cushion, drop back into his cushion right after the jam. Keeping an eye on this receiver. If he breaks to the out, he's already in position. The strong side backer is going to ride the seam down the hash with the tight end. And he's also going to keep an eye on number 1. If number 1 breaks in or stops, he's going to drop off his guy, drop off number 2, and keep an eye on what number 1 is doing and settle down. Strong safety right here is going to get his depth and play right in between number 1 and number 2. That's why this is important. If the strong side backer sees number 1 stop and try to break in, he's coming across to take off the underneath route, and strong safety is gonna then take the tight end down the seam. That's all about communicating. Let's move over to the middle backer. He's gonna cover number 3, and if there's no immediate threat to his zone, he's gonna follow this guy here man to man. So he has him locked up right there. That's how you cover that, communicating. And you move over to the weak side right here. The nickel back is gonna carry this guy down the hash, down the seam, and if he's gonna watch for number 5 breaking in. Once number 5 breaks in, settles down, and he's going to then cut underneath of this guy. So therefore, he's passing his man over to the free safety. And that's how it's all about communicating. Is you see right here, get the jam. The weak side corner is going to get this jam, ride this receiver. Once he see him breaks in, then he starts to settle back and cushions back and wait for if this guy breaks out this way. But really, it's a free safeties man because he's coming down the hash. But you see how it's communicating defense. If they communicate in their pass defense, I think they can do a great job versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Now let's move over to the Chiefs in this matchup, and I think everyone will focus on Brady Quinn, but I honestly believe that if the Chiefs run the football, they could be effective versus this Raiders defensive front. So that's a heavy dose of Jamal Charles, the play action pass to Tony Moeaki. I think the Chiefs can be effective in putting points on the board utilizing that strategy. But let's go inside the lab and look at this Chiefs defense and how utilizing robber coverage could help them better versus the Raiders passing attack.
I think the Kansas City Chiefs, with their versatile safeties, Kendrick Lewis and also Eric Berry, can do some damage to the Raiders passing attack if they utilize robber coverages. And we have 2 types of robber coverage drawn up. You see, we're going to have the banjo and we're going to have the luck. The luck indicates that all the linebackers are manned up on someone. Strong side is manned up on the tight end. Middle is manned up on the backs. Weak side is manned up on the back that's closer to his area. The banjo coverage is where the 2 linebackers are going to drop in the zone, and we're going to have this drawn up right here. So this is your banjo type of coverage right there. Boom, boom. And you also have manned up on the corners right there. But you see where the robber coverage is right here. Free safety jumping in the hole to pick off any quick passes. Free safety jumping in the hole. Strong safety drops back as the center fielder. So you see right there, I really think with the personnel the Chiefs have, they have the versatility to drop a strong safety back deep in the third and also bring down a free safety or vice versa. So I think if they use different type of robber coverages, I believe they can have some success versus the Oakland Raiders.
I think the linebackers have to be an X factor in this ball game for the Raiders, stopping the run, putting it all on Brady Quinn in that passing attack. So the linebackers have to do their part this week. And I look at the Chiefs defensive line also doing their part, allowing those edge rushers the opportunity to get to the quarterback and disrupt the timing of that Raiders zone offense. let's look at the personnel breakdown in this matchup. You see the Chiefs do have some talent on the offensive line and the linebacking core as well as the secondary, and I really like the Raiders wide receivers. They have come a long way. They are very productive. You just got to get them the football consistently. I like Oakland in this ball game. I think the Raiders will come in, play a well-balanced offensive attack, and do a great job of getting the Chiefs off the field on third down and putting a lot of pressure on Brady Quinn to throw the football to victory, and I think that will play right into the hands of that Raiders pass rush. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Raider fan forums and Chief fan forums for always showing football game plan support.